Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm David Guyden, Executive Director of the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, New England Chapter. I'm honored to be serving as your MC tonight for our virtual Fall Gala 2020 for Life Without Limits. Thank you for joining us for this special evening, even though, because of the coronavirus epidemic, it is not exactly what we had originally planned. We have, however, created what promises to be an enjoyable program and memorable evening. One note before we begin our program. We hope you have all had the opportunity to browse and bid on our silent auction items. You should have received a text from us about an hour ago if you have registered for the auction. If you did not receive a text, we encourage you to register on your phone by visiting withoutlimitsgivesmart.com. The auction will remain open for bidding until tonight at 9 o'clock. Our program will last less than an hour, so you will have plenty of time to join in for the bidding at the conclusion of our Fall Gala. Now, on with the show. From our board president and from our new director of education programs, you'll hear about our vision and catch the passion that drives AFA New England to help people with asthma and allergies to live active, healthy lives. We'll pay tribute to one of our board members whose exemplary life and untiring support was and continues to be a source of inspiration. Our keynote speaker will discuss the current state of COVID-19 and the search for effective and safe vaccines. We'll have a musical interlude that will empower children with food allergies and resonate with people of all ages. Tonight, you'll also hear from members of our asthma and allergy community, the inspiring stories of people who live with asthma and allergies and the parents who care for and support their families even as they pay it forward through their volunteer work with AFA New England. Now, I'm pleased to introduce Jan Hansen, Board President of AFA New England. Jan is a nationally recognized food allergy educator, speaker, and author of 2 books and numerous articles with over 25 years experience in food allergy education and advocacy. Jan founded her consulting company, Educating for Food Allergies, to assist families in individual healthcare planning, in providing educational food allergy workshops, and in the formulation of school district life-threatening allergy policy. Enjoy the program.
Good evening. On behalf of the AFA New England Board of Directors, I welcome you to our 3rd annual For Life Without Limits Fall Gala 2020, this year brought to you virtually. We're so delighted that you're joining us this evening. For this evening's activities, the board did make the difficult decision to postpone our celebration of our champions of the asthma and allergy community until next year's event. Jackie Rodriguez-Lewis, our 2020 champion, is an incredible individual whose work is both necessary and so important. Jackie is the programs leader, community outreach for Partners Asthma Center at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. And Jackie, we look forward to celebrating you next year in style at our in-person Fall Gala 2021. 2020 has certainly been a year with its challenges, but it's also been a year with many highlights for AFA New England. Our board and staff leadership continue to grow with exceptional, dedicated individuals. We welcomed Karen Roberto, a Medford, Massachusetts school nurse educator, to our board, and Karen brings with her new energy and great ideas. And we welcomed Amy Dow to our staff as our Director of Education Programs. Amy brings extensive experience in the nonprofit sector. She is passionate about her work and has jumped easily into her role. And we're pleased to introduce Amy to you a little bit later in the program. This year I am saddened to report the passing of one of our board members, Bob Stoker. Bob served on our board for well over 10 years. He always brought ideas to our board about how we could better serve our community. Bob was a friend, and I always looked forward to our unscheduled but regular phone calls where he would share his always thoughtful perspective, and I always enjoyed listening to his dry, quick sense of humor. And tonight we will pay tribute to Bob with a special presentation by fellow board member Juliana Pagori. Juliana knew Bob well and considered him both her mentor and her friend. AFA New England's commitment to make a positive impact on the quality of life for those living with or caring for someone with asthma and allergies remains strong. The reality of COVID-19 has not stopped us, and it has not slowed us down. We are proud to fulfill our mission to promote education and awareness through our programming, which we're able to offer to our community in most instances free of charge. Our speaker series programs continue to bring you timely and important information on the topics of asthma and allergies 6 times per year with virtual, Facebook, and Zoom events. And we thank GlaxoSmithKline for their substantial support of our 2020 speaker series. We also want to thank the Thoracic Foundation for a generous grant which allows us to produce our newsletter bulletins sent 3 times annually to inform and empower our community. And we remain committed to supporting research by sharing in each of these bulletins studies that are looking for participants. And we know that these studies will ultimately improve the health of those of us affected by these chronic conditions. Looking forward, we will continue to have a strong focus on highlighting the health issues associated with vaping in our initiative we call You Deserve the Truth About Vaping. We've also expanded our programming for 2020 and 2021 to include very timely topics, the impact of COVID-19 on our asthma and allergy community, and to explore the effects of disparities in healthcare delivery, also on our community. And Amy will provide information about these a little bit later tonight. AFA New England is boots on the ground, virtually for now, but in person again soon. I am proud to work with the AFA New England Board of Directors, our Medical Advisory Committee, our staff, David Guyden and Amy Dow, and I am so proud to be a part of this vibrant community. We know our work is meaningful to many, and your support of our work is appreciated and means so much to so many. Together, we will continue to make a difference. I thank you and hope you will enjoy this special evening that we've prepared for you tonight.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Arpierian, and I'd like to thank AFA New England for supporting me and my family as we transitioned from anaphylaxis to advocacy. In 2018, while dining out in Boston, my son ordered a pastry that we were assured was peanut-free. But after one small bite, he went into anaphylactic shock. The unmarked pastry had a peanut butter filling. Restaurant policy is simple. If you have an allergy, inform your server. We did that, so I couldn't stop asking myself how this happened and how I could prevent it from happening again. While researching food allergy policies, I found a piece of current legislation that with the right amendment could prevent something like this from happening. With the help of Senator Cynthia Cream, I proposed a bill bridging the gap between food allergy patrons and the kitchen. The bill was filed in January 2019, and in September 2019, my family provided testimony in front of the Joint Committee on Public Health. Though the bill is currently on hold due to COVID-19, we plan to refile in January of this year. We look forward to passing this much-needed legislation and thank David Guyden, Jan Hansen, and the late Robert Stoker for supporting us throughout this process. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Our keynote speaker this evening is Dan Barouch, MD, Ph.D. Dr. Barouch is the William Bosworth Castle Professor of Medicine at Harvard Medical School and Director of the Center for Virology and Vaccine Research, Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, where his Barouch Laboratory is currently in Phase 3 trials of a single-dose COVID-19 vaccine in partnership with Johnson & Johnson. Dr. Barouch will offer his unique perspectives on COVID-19 and the development of safe and effective vaccines. Thank you, Dr. Barouch.
Good evening. My name is Dan Barouch, and I'm delighted to be your keynote speaker for the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America New England chapter for your Fall Gala 2020. I'd like to speak just for a few minutes of the COVID-19 pandemic and our efforts in developing a vaccine. The COVID-19 pandemic truly requires no introduction, given the devastating effects that it's had on each of our lives. Currently, there are over 48 million people infected with this disease and over 1.2 million deaths, including over 200,000 deaths in the United States alone. Why do we need a COVID-19 vaccine? Most importantly, it is likely that a COVID-19 vaccine is going to be critical to end this pandemic. In addition, a vaccine could be important to control future outbreaks. And regardless of the clinical need, vaccine development is an important contribution to science. Currently, we have 6 vaccine candidates that are either in or soon to be in large final stage efficacy trials in the United States. This is out of more than 200 vaccine candidates that are currently under development. These 6 vaccine candidates, at least in my opinion, are our best chances of ending this pandemic. The first 2 vaccines that entered clinical trials were the RNA vaccines from the companies Moderna and Pfizer. The next 2 vaccines that entered large-scale clinical trials were the adenovirus vector-based vaccines called ChAdOx1 and Ad26 from AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. I'll be speaking more about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in a minute. And the 2 vaccines that we hope will go into a large phase 3 clinical trial soon are protein-based vaccines from the companies Novavax and Sanofi. This is truly an astonishing feat of modern medicine and modern science. So our vaccine program has been based on a replication incompetent common cold virus called adenovirus serotype 26. We created this as a vaccine platform over 10 years ago, and we initially used this for our HIV vaccine program, which is still ongoing. It has also been utilized by us and others for other pathogens such as Zika, Ebola, RSV, and others. We have been collaborating with the company Johnson & Johnson for the clinical development of these vaccines. Overall, we thought that Ad26 would be a useful vaccine for COVID-19 because it has been safe and immunogenic in over 110,000 people worldwide to date. So there's a substantial safety database for this vaccine. There's also been the first regulatory approval of an Ad26-based Ebola virus vaccine in Europe. And there's also been pediatric experience with an Ad26 RSV vaccine to babies down to 6 months of age. So if the Ad26 COVID vaccine proves to be safe and effective in adults, then it should be relatively straightforward to age de-escalate and to develop this as a pediatric vaccine, which would be very useful for all the back-to-school issues that we all are facing. In addition, J&J has shown that mass production of millions of doses of Ad26 vaccines is possible and global distribution is feasible. Also, the potency of this vaccine gives rise to the potential of using this as a single-shot vaccine, also with no frozen cold chain required, which will be very useful for ultimate distribution. So what we did is we started our vaccine development program on January 10th of this year. On that day, there were 41 cases of a mysterious pneumonia reported in Wuhan, and 1 person had died. Just think of that. On January of this year, 41 individuals were infected. Now we have over 40 million. 1 person had died. Now we have over 1 million deaths. It's truly astonishing. But on January 10th, an important event occurred. The Chinese researchers sequenced this virus and published the sequence of this virus online, which allowed us and many other groups around the world to start with vaccine development activities. We found 41 cases and 1 death to be alarming, and so we started vaccine development work immediately. By Monday, January 13th, we had created synthetic genes and we were able to start ordering the pieces needed to actually begin vaccine development. By the end of July, we signed a collaboration agreement with Johnson & Johnson for development of this vaccine. In February, we started animal studies, and by May, we had published our first scientific papers on natural and vaccine immunity. By July, we started our phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials with this vaccine in collaboration with Johnson & Johnson. And also, we published the protection of the Ad26 vaccine in animal models. And at the end of September, we initiated our large phase 3 clinical trial. So the phase 3 clinical trial is being led by J&J together with the NIH. The target enrollment is 60,000 individuals. This will test a single-shot vaccine of the Ad26 CoV-2S vaccine, and there's no requirement for a frozen cold chain. This study is being enrolled in the United States and South Africa and multiple countries in Latin America. So I'll conclude with a few perspectives. First, vaccine development for COVID-19 is proceeding faster than for any pathogen in history. But safety and maintenance of public trust are absolutely critical, because a safe and effective vaccine that is not trusted will fail in its mission to end the pandemic. We believe that multiple vaccines should be pursued in parallel, since it is not clear which will be the most protective and the most deployable. And finally, there are over 7 billion people in this world, so we therefore need not one, but we actually need multiple vaccines to be successful. And I believe wholeheartedly that science will provide a solution to this pandemic. So thank you for allowing me to address you today. I have a personal connection with this community because my daughter has food allergies, and so I wish you all the best and stay safe. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eileen Scafidi. I became involved with the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America when I had a question on some legislation that was presented in Massachusetts to make restaurants safer for people with food allergy. I got to know the team over there and they gave me some great information, and from that day on, I became more involved. They had some needs on a volunteer basis for some help with marketing and communications. I have some experience in that area. Sometimes you really want to do something to help out and you're not sure what that is, so you do what you can. I've been helping out on projects and it's been great. It's a really nice way to give back. The reason this issue is so important to me is because my son has several food allergies and it's very challenging. I don't have to tell this group that. So it's great to be able to do something to move the issue forward and to advocate for the well-being of not only my son, but for the growing number of people that have food allergies. Thanks for the opportunity to give back.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amy Dow, and I am the Director of Education Programs for AFA New England. AFA New England continues its mission to bring you programs and materials that are current, informative, and address the needs of our community. We are very proud of our Fall 2020 Bulletin, which was recently received in over 2,500 households in New England. In our Fall Bulletin, we provided guidelines for going back to school with COVID-19 and supplied an extensive list of resources to assist you during these times, which we have posted to our website. Additionally, I had the absolute joy of interviewing Jackie Rodriguez-Lewis for a 2-part series on the disparities in our healthcare delivery systems. Jackie is the Programs Leader, Community Outreach for Partners Asthma Center at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Keep an eye out for Part 2 of the series coming in our Winter Bulletin in early 2021. AFA New England is equally proud of our Speaker Series events. This past September, with our partner GlaxoSmithKline, we brought you an event titled Asthma Action Plan as part of our Asthma Goal Series, which was hosted by Arnita Roberts-Christie, a registered nurse and patient engagement liaison at GlaxoSmithKline. On December 3rd at 7 p.m., we will continue our Asthma Goal Series with Arnita and delve deeper into defining the chronic health condition of asthma. Our October 22nd Speaker Series event focused on COVID-19 and its physical and emotional effects on the asthma and allergy community. We were delighted to have as our presenters 3 specialists who shared their immense expertise with us. Dr. Michael Pissner, a pediatric allergist and Director of Food Allergy Advocacy, Education and Prevention at Massachusetts General Hospital's Food Allergy Center. And from Boston Children's Hospital, Dr. Trigoni Simone, a pediatric pulmonologist, and Dr. Jennifer Lebovich, a psychologist in the Division of Immunology. On January 19th, we will host a program to further explore disparities in our healthcare delivery system. This speaker series will include a dynamic panel of 4 experts who are all affiliated with Brigham and Women's Hospital, including Dr. Margie Luisius, Director of Diversity and Inclusion with the Division of Allergy and Immunology, Dr. Lakia Wright, Medical Director of U.S. Clinical Affairs at Thermo Fisher Scientific Immunodiagnostics, Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, Board-Certified Internist and Clinician Investigator, and Dr. Railat Abdullahi, Clinical Research Director for the Immunology and Inflammation Division with Sanofi. To watch any of our previous speaker series events or to register for future events, please visit us at asthmaandallergies.org. As a person with asthma and allergies, I am very happy to be here with you tonight and to be part of the AFA New England team. Enjoy the evening.
Our tribute this evening to our dear departed board member, Robert Stoker, is presented by Juliana Pagori, who considered Bob her mentor and true friend. Juliana Pagori has been an active member of AFA New England for a decade and became a member of our board of directors in 2017. Inspired by her father and son's severe asthma, she has worked for multiple respiratory companies in New England and is currently in the biologic severe asthma space. Juliana.
Good evening, and thank you for that introduction. Tonight, I have the pleasure of honoring our dear friend, Bob Stoker. I met Bob in 1995 while we were working together in respiratory sales. And soon, Bob became not only a friend, but a mentor. I remember telling physicians and nurses I knew Bob Stoker, and all of them would welcome me into their offices because any friend of Bob's was a friend of theirs too. A few years later, as our paths went in different directions, one would have thought that it would be the end of our friendship. However, it was only the beginning of a long 25-year journey. When you speak to people that know Bob, you often hear, he's such a nice guy. He's such a gentleman, a hard worker, loyal, smart, and oh so funny, and at 6'6", so very, very tall. And every time my phone rang and it was Bob, the conversation would go something like this. Juliana, I have an opportunity for you. And Bob is the reason many of us sit on this board of directors. Bob was an only child, as his father passed away at a very early age. One of his dearest friends believes that this is why Bob formed such strong bonds with everybody he met along the way. Bob came from a very small family, but left a very large one behind. Bob was a devoted husband to Margaret and a father to Maddie, the two greatest loves of his life. Bob and Margaret met when he walked into a pharmacy she was working at in California in the summer of 1980 and would not leave. He talked to her for 4 hours. They married in 1984, lived in Hawaii, traveled the world, eventually settling in New Hampshire. Maddie came along and Bob loved being a dad. He attended field trips and dance competitions and even took Maddie to the Home Depot because his daughter was going to build and fix things. He was a man of great faith, and that showed in the ways that he treated others. As time went by, Bob, who had alpha-1, a very serious and rare lung disease, became dependent on oxygen, and in 2014, he received a bilateral lung transplant at the Cleveland Clinic. After this successful surgery, he felt reborn. Even though he could no longer work full-time, he kept busy reading medical journals and studies. It was then that Bob started volunteering for organizations such as the COPD Foundation, the Alpha-1 Foundation. He volunteered for people with physical and mental and emotional disabilities, brought food to the elderly on Sundays, and became a board member here at Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America New England chapter, where he was extremely successful in securing grant funding. He also worked for the Department of Defense as an objective reviewer of pending grant proposals. He became a patient advocate. He testified before state congresses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. He was the voice of nurses, of patients, and physicians across New England, building very strong bonds with everyone he met along the way. Dr. Brian Stone described Bob as the best big brother anyone could have, and I think we all agree with that. Bob never missed a board meeting or event, but this past year, he became very weak and tired. He fought so hard for every single breath, something we often take for granted. Bob would be the first to tell everyone to stop mourning his death and celebrate his life and ours. So today, the board is proud to make you, my friend, an honorary director at Asthma and Allergy Foundation, New England chapter. Your legacy will live on as we continue to champion the many causes that were so important during your time here. We are all better because of you, and you are deeply missed. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carla. When my daughter Jessica was 17 months old, she found a cashew on our kitchen floor. She put it in her mouth, and instantly her lips swelled, she had splotches on her face, and she was wheezing for air. We did not know she had food allergies, but she was suffering from a severe allergic reaction. Later that night in the emergency room, when my husband and I were devastated, the doctors and nurses literally saved Jessica's life with epinephrine. We didn't know how to parent a toddler with food allergies in a world full of nuts. I turned to AFA New England and attended support groups, lectures by doctors, heard from family members about ways to make sure that in a life full of allergens, we could make sure that we were prepared and not paranoid. Now, 12 years later, Jessica's 14 years old, healthy, and she knows exactly how to keep herself safe from her allergens.
Thank you, AFA New England.
One of our favorite food allergy resources is Dine, the only food allergy musician in the world. He's got 2 amazing CDs full of lyrics that have catchy tunes and great ways for us to learn about staying safe with allergies. He also has a DVD with music, puppets, and videos that tell about staying safe with food allergies too. We love Dine.
Hey, it's Kyle Dine here, and it is an honor to be with you at this year's AFA New England's virtual gala. I've had multiple food allergies all my life, and the one thing that's made a huge impact for me in staying safe is simply being connected. And groups like AFA New England, they help and provide incredible and up-to-date information to help us all rock our food allergies. Being empowered over my food allergy means that physically I know how to stay safe, but also mentally I have a healthy attitude and perspective. And you know, this day and age with COVID, this is so important, our attitude, our perspective. That's what this song's all about. It's called C'est la vie, and it's all about staying safe, but also staying positive and carrying on. So I hope you're all doing the same these days and staying well. Enjoy. You and I see eye to eye that we don't mind when others just might, whether a bruise on the knee or a food allergy. fuss. When people think we've got it bad, and it must be so tough. It's all not as bad as some might make it to be. We can play and have fun, smile and feel young. So we'll say la vie. Give your best and try and look on the bright side. You can reach the sky when you keep your head high. Then you will see how happy you'll be. That's the key. Say la vie. And in this crazy life, it's easy to get caught up in the fuss. When people think we've got it bad, and it must be so tough. It's all not as bad as some might make it to be. We can play and have fun, smile and feel young. So we'll say la vie. There were problems then, problems now, and forever they'll be there. So why waste time on worrying when there's no time to care? So give thanks that we're free, anything we can be. So we'll say la vie. Stay safe, everyone, and stay positive. Take care.
Hello, my name is Christopher Colesman, and I was born with anaphylactic food allergies, environmental allergies, and asthma. Being a dedicated athlete, I did not want my allergies and asthma to keep me from pursuing the sports and active lifestyle I desired. Together with my doctors, many of whom are here, I learned to control my asthma, got over 2 of my food allergies, dairy and egg, through oral immunotherapy, and took allergy shots to make my environmental allergies less severe. Thank you to these dedicated doctors who have cared for me through this journey. Now, I want to help other kids with food allergies through the MGH Food Allergy Buddies program, which is a fantastic program run by Dr. Pissner. So let us end with a big thank you to him and also to AFA for all their resources and advice and help it provides to this community.
We cannot end this evening without a great big thank you to our Fall Gala 2020 sponsors and individual donors. It's been quite an evening, hasn't it? You've heard heartfelt stories from the people and families in our community who deal with the impacts of asthma and allergies every day. The tribute to our late board member reminded us how one person's life can truly make a difference and touch the lives of many. You learned from our board leadership and staff about AFA New England's impactful programs. And our keynote speaker left us with hope for the future as we all deal with the impacts of COVID-19. Our board, staff, and most especially our asthma and allergy community, thank you for your support. We get to see, and we shared with you tonight, how your support translates to our boots on the ground work, advocacy, and programs aimed at finding better treatments and ultimately cures for asthma and allergies. We hope you will find it in your hearts to donate any amount that is right for you. Now it is your turn to help. There are 4 easy ways to donate. Your gift will enable us to make good on our mission of For Life Without Limits. As a final reminder, our auction will be open until 9 o'clock tonight. Please click on the link on your screen to see all the wonderful auction items that are still up for bids. And thank you for attending this evening. We appreciate and value your support. Stay safe, stay well. Good night to all. And thank you again for your support of AFA New England.